Sup, guys, this is Baseball for FPC, and today I'm going to be bringing you the start of a new series which I've been planning on doing for quite some time now. If you're a part of my Steam group, and if you've ever checked out the page, then you realize that I've got a list of series that I plan on doing, as well as a list of series that I'm currently doing. And Trine 2 has been on the list that I've wanted to do for quite some time, basically ever since I did a walkthrough of the first one, which you can find on my channel as well. And if you've seen the first one, or if you've seen my videos on it, I really enjoyed the first one. It kind of surprised me as being a really fun game, and so I've put quite a few hours into both Trine 1 and Trine 2, and so I've been wanting to do a Trine 2 walkthrough for quite some time. I just haven't gotten around to it, and learning from my past mistakes, I know that it's never a good idea to only have one series going at one time, and so I'm going to be shaking things up between Trine 2, Half-Life, potentially a couple other series, and we'll see what goes on from there. So a little bit about Trine 2. Trine 2 is the sequel, as the name implies, to the 2009 game Trine, and both of these games were developed and published by Frozen Byte. And so the game looks incredible. If you've seen any screenshots, if you've seen any gameplay, the game looks absolutely amazing. And watching it on YouTube doesn't quite do it the justice that it deserves, and so I'd highly recommend you picking up both Trine 1 and Trine 2. They're both great games. And so you can get them on Steam for really cheap. The Steam Summer Sale is coming up, and so, or at least I think it's coming up. It should be coming up. And so I'm sure you can get those dirt cheap when they go on sale, and so highly recommend them. The visuals are great, and it just looks fantastic when you're playing it on your full screen monitor. And so yeah, highly recommend it in that category. It's also a really fun game. It has the graphics, but it's also really fun and enjoyable to play. It's a side-scrolling action-adventure game, and you play as one of 3 characters, and you basically go on your adventures and you have fun, you complete puzzles, you kill goblins, and it's just a very laid-back, fun game, but that doesn't mean that it's easy. Some of these puzzles require a bit of thought, it requires a bit of ingenuity on the part of the player, and so that is one of the parts that makes it so interesting, is the fact that it's got a very laid-back feeling, it's very fun, bright, colorful, and yet there's also quite a bit of depth to it when you start to think about things. And so I'm going to be showing you, or rather, I'm going to be doing a series on Trine, like I've been talking about. This is going to be a walkthrough on hard mode, or hardcore, I should say, hardcore. Basically, hard is the difficulty. That means that the enemies hit harder. They take a lot more shots to kill. I can't spit this word out. Hardcore mode means that you only have a limited number of respawns per checkpoint. So basically, if hardcore mode is off, you can get all your characters back to life as many times as you want just by running back to the next checkpoint. They'll have full health, basically. With hardcore mode, you only get 1 respawn per checkpoint. So if you've got all 3 characters, you're prancing around on the battlefield, you run up to some guys, 2 of your characters die, you can go to the next checkpoint, revive both of those, but if they die again, you can't revive them at that checkpoint. You have to go to the next one. And so it makes things really challenging, especially because Trine 2 has some pretty long levels that require a bit of skill in getting through them. And so it makes things really challenging if you get all the way to the end, you spent all this time working through, planned everything out carefully, and then at the end you just mess up and 2 of your characters die, and you're left with, say, the wizard. And the wizard can't really do anything. Especially if you're fighting a boss, he can't do anything. And so it's like, you just wasted all that time. So there's a lot of, you're always cautious, you're always trying to be careful about what you're doing. And so with that being said, I would highly recommend you not trying hardcore mode until you've basically beaten the game several times. You've got most of the perks for each of the characters, because the goal for hardcore is to spend as little time as possible in each level. The more enemies you can run past, the more obstacles you can fly over, it'll make things a lot easier for you in the long run, because you won't have to worry about dying and then trying to find the next checkpoint to revive your character. So if you can get a lot of those perks, then it'll make your life a lot easier. So I'd recommend getting most of those perks, getting most of the level experience before you attempt this. With that being said as well, you'll notice, if you've ever played Trine or Trine 2 before, that there's level experiences, little orbs floating around the level that you collect, and that's how you level up. You'll notice that those are absent from the levels that I'm playing, from the game. And that's basically because I've collected them all. As simple as that. Like I said, I've gotten basically every single perk you can have in the game, which means that I've gotten basically every single level experience. And so you won't see those blue floating orbs, but you will see them if you're just starting a new game. So that's kind of a long explanation for a pretty short, not a very important part of it. And so yeah, I'm kind of rambling off here at the end here, but as I said, highly recommend the game. Pick it up on Steam, really cheap, dirt cheap. I'm pretty sure you guys will love it. You can play 3-player co-op, which makes things even more interesting. Grab a couple of friends, and you can have a lot of fun. I've been playing through it with John G and Jason, I believe his name is Netforcer, and so we've been having a lot of fun playing it 3-player co-op. However, this is a single-player walkthrough because I think single-player is a little bit more difficult. Just because you don't have those extra companions to kind of help you out with. And so there's a lot of walkthroughs already showing you co-op walkthroughs, but this will be a strictly single-player walkthrough, so I hope everybody who's struggling solo will be able to use these videos. And so, with that being said, I will give you the introduction, or this concludes the introduction, my introduction at least. There will be a short clip basically introducing Trine 2. This is the opening cinematic, I guess you'd call it, at the beginning of the game, and this will kind of introduce you to the plot, and then we'll get started from there. So thank you guys for watching this rather long introduction video, but I hope it was entertaining, or at least informative for you guys. So thank you for listening and or watching, and until next time, later.
Once upon a time, there were 3 valiant heroes, chosen by a magical artifact called the Trine. You may have heard another tale of how they met. Let me tell you a story of their latest adventure. Something mysterious and magical was taking place in the forest.